Ron. Sounding good this morning, sir. NU6F, I got you in the number 3 spot. Anybody else like to be number 4? Just a early check-in here before the net starts here in a few minutes. Come now.
WB6, W6MQI. Still, I don't even know my own call anymore.
Well, you're way ahead of me still there, Dave, because there's some mornings I don't even know me. So I have to ask Carla who I am. Good to have you back, Dave. Can't wait to hear about how you did on your treks in the woods. But you got a good signal in here this morning, Dave. Sounding good as usual. So welcome back. And is there a number 5 out there I'd like to check in? Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, well, the order as I have it so far is Vern, K6BXY in the 1 spot. Mike, W7MS is in the 2 spot. Ron, NU6F is in the number 3 spot. And Dave, you're in the number 4 spot. So, Vern and Mike have made a transmission. So, Ron, go ahead and make a transmission and just send it over to Dave, and then Dave, you can send it back up to me. We haven't started the net yet. I'm just wanting to keep the frequency open. So, NU6F, K0DWC.
Okay, good deal, guys. Yeah, just a bit of slow QSB, but, yeah, hopefully it'll hold up. And, well, let's see. It's the still the T3 and the R390 this morning. I've got the shack torn apart. You know, all I wanted to do was to take the BC375 in here, and it's matching BC348. And the 30 amp, 24 volt supply, the dynamotors, and yeah, the logistics of getting it in the place that I wanted meant I had to take apart things here at the operating desk, take out the ARC-V power supply and the ARC-Vs down in the one cabinet, and instead make space for the new setup. And yeah, while I'm at it, changed in some other stuff. But yeah, there's lots of sawdust in the shop. There's pieces of scrap metal, cut fingers. Oh yeah, we're in the middle of it. Anyhow, good deal. Vern, glad to hear you here as the early bird that caught the worm. And yeah, hour early, hour late. Well, what's the difference? And Mike, okay, I can hear carbony goodness, so you can let us know which carbon mic powered radio you're on. And Dave, I didn't know you were out in the woods, but it's better than being out to lunch. Okay, with that, take it away, Dave, and maybe we'll leave a pause for somebody. And you 6F.
All right, NU6F, W6MQ. I didn't hear anybody jump in there. Hey, good morning, everybody. Yep, good to be back. Nice to sleep in my own bed. Gets old after a while, especially the older I get. But, Ron, I thought about you last night. Of course, I hadn't talked to you in a long time. I can't remember the last time I talked to you. You've probably seen it. I watched a movie last night, the Kirk Douglas movie called The Hook. There's a really good radio room scene in there with RAL, RAK, and a TDE in the background. And he's chatting away on the radio, and there isn't a meter moving. At least they could have done is made the meters move. But anyway, nice shots of a TDE and the receivers and such. But I thought about you on that. But anyway, everybody's sounding good here in Livermore, and we're on the ART-13 this morning. Nice and simple. So back up to, I guess it goes to Chuck, K0DWC, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. Good deal there. Way to go. And, you know, I don't know. I think during that pause, I don't know if I was hearing things. I thought I heard Bill in there, but let me make a call out and see if Bill is out there. Bill, N6BCT, are you on frequency? I guess that wasn't Bill. I guess I was hearing foreign broadcast. I don't know. I thought I heard somebody sounded like Bill anyway, but anyway, I guess we can go ahead and proceed with the net. I can catch the rest of the guys at the bottom of the first round if there's anybody there yet. But, anyway, good morning to all, and this is Vintage Military Radio Net. This is K0DWC, and this is Chuck. I'll be in net control this morning, and we'll be on 3974 KC. The Vintage Military Radio Net's Roundtable AM Net, excuse me, that provides an opportunity for licensed hams to operate their vintage military radio gear on the air. Military gear is encouraged, but certainly not required. Check-ins will be given a number, can be used in the handoff, and I'll call for check-ins at the end of each roundtable session. So if anybody has anything for sale or has a want, please mention it during your turn in the roundtable session. So I'll give the rundown one more time, and I'll make one more call out before we go to the top. In the one spot is Vern, K6DXY. Congratulations, Vern, you're on the poll this morning. Number 2 spot is Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. Number 3 is Ron, NU6F. Good morning, Ron. Number 4 is Dave, W6NQI. Good morning, Dave. So let's see if we got anybody before we go out to the top. Is there anybody want to be number 5 right now for the Vintage Military Radio Net first round? Please come now.
WA7YBS.
Hey, bud, good morning. Hope you're bright and chipper this morning. Sounding pretty good. WA7YBS in the number 5 spot. All right, let me see. Let me mark you down. Okay. All right, Henry, I got you in the 5 spot there, sir. And number 6, is there a number 6 out there for the first round? Come now.
Good morning from W1N ZR Radio.
Well, that's a pleasant surprise. Good morning, Brown. Nice to hear you this morning. You must be on the left coast. So, good to hear you this morning. I've got you in the number 6 spot, sir. Is there a number 7 out there for the Vintage Military Radio Net? Please come now. Okay. Alrighty. Well, we will go ahead and go to the top here. And let me give you an equipment rundown. We're running the ART-13 with the R45 ARR7 receiver, D104 amplified microphone, inverted V, LS3 speaker, and we're running about 250 watts of carrier power. So we will go up to the top to Vern, K6BXY. To take it, this is K0DWC.
Okay, I gave it a little pause there, just in case. But said power was weak. It should be okay, because I'm still up 40 feet. I did quite a bit of an antenna work this week. I'm working on a second antenna, a little different direction, and I've spotted a tree. There's also a guy that's come out and done yard work here, and he cut down one of the branches that was causing problems with the new antenna, and I'm also, he's going to be back tomorrow, Monday, and do some more trimming. There's some more branches, oak branches that are attacking this antenna. That could be, it'll be a really whiz-bang. It's going to be a different direction, and I have a feeling it's going to favor Bob more. It's going to be a little more northeast, southwest. We'll see. Anyhow, right now I don't want to try using it because it wouldn't work right. Anyhow, the R390 that Ron brought up reminded me of my Navy experience, because that was our electronic shop radio, the R390. I was just curious how much that thing weighs. I never did weigh it. It was always mounted in a rack, but it was big, and it worked great. We used it mainly on AM, but on sideband, I did do some hamming when I was on the ship. We were between, I may have told this story before, we were between New Zealand and South America on the World Cruise with the Enterprise. I was on the USS Long Beach cruiser, and there was a ham there that was an officer who was allowed to use the Collins equipment, and I kind of was there with him, and he got a hold of my parents in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they ran a phone patch. It was really something to hear my parents' voices, especially my mom's, coming out the speaker where I'm normally hearing the Navy stuff, but they were on there through a phone patch. That was kind of neat. I don't know what the rigs were. They were 250-watt rigs. I was responsible for them, and partially, and then also the linear. They had a 5K linear that I was nursemaiding as we went around there. That was right after Vietnam started. We weren't part of it, but they were doing a lot of urgent communication there in the summer of '64. Anyhow, with that, turned it over to Mike, W7S, who is loud and clear as usual. This antenna's working good too, but why not go for more antennas? You know, you need backup. W7MS in the group, and good morning to Dave, good morning to Dave and to Henry, and the W1 station, I'm not sure about that, and Ron, Mike, and of course Chuck. This K6 VXY over to W7MS.
Well, thank you, Vern. K6VXY in the Nevada Military Net AM style W7MS. Well, good morning to all, and we'll make it official. Thanks, Chuck, for running the show. And a good signal from your location. Vern is booming in also. Good morning, Vern. And of course, Ron is my neighbor next door, sounding fine as he makes his way through the sawdust and metal filings. And good morning, Dave. Nice to have you back. Henry's back, sort of on sick call, but he's here this morning. And of course, welcome to the West Coast Brown. And my intelligence reports tell me, did you do any dealing in the Reno area? Based on my intelligence sources, there was some communications a few weeks ago with my guy up the street from where I live. But just something to add some mystery to the conversation here. But and very great on that on the Long Beach. I built that as a model as a kid. I had a plastic model ship that I built of the Long Beach. So that's my connection to your phone pad story. And this morning, running the RCA Grasshopper radios, the AVR-20A receiver, the AVT-112A receiver, the commercial Shure Brothers carbon microphone for extra added punch, and the premier rollout of my Technical Material Corporation RFD-1B linear amplifier with the home-built power supply, about 300 watts of carrier this morning. So that's the short version. And we can give somebody a long version, but we don't want to time out 75 meters. So with that, over to Ron. It's your turn to time out 75. NU6F, W7MS.
Okay, I left my pregnant pause. Well, anyhow, okay, great copy on all killer signals. I'm looking over on the SDR receiver. We got nobody co-channel except up above a little bit for the broadcast band. But yeah, let's see. Go through and good morning, Henry and Brown. Glad to see we have number 6 and 7 in. And Chuck, okay, on the ART-13. Yeah, I could tell you had a different mic. Yeah, it sounds more like Chuck. And Let's see, Vern, tree trimming. Oh yeah, the R390. I think it's like 85 pounds, 80 pounds, 90 pounds, something like that. But yeah, it's still too heavy, but it doesn't have to move any, so that's okay. Although I did have to move it a little bit yesterday while I'm pulling cables out and making up a different transmit and receive antenna switching setup here on my Clues junction box. Every time I add a radio, I got to drill more holes and another relay and another receive mute function. But I think this one here, once I do this, I should be done. And okay, on the tree trimming, well, if nothing else, you cut down the branches, it's less opportunity for squirrels to go ahead and jump from tree to tree. Maybe you can cut their travels down some. Mike, good deal on the TMC. Now I saw the picture online, and now I heard it. Well, at least I heard the amplifier. And well, like you say, I think you had that for a while, so it was good to get it out. One more off of the Got to Do project list. And Dave, I forgot. Okay, as far as the Kirk Douglas movie, I missed what the name of that movie was, so I'll have to go through and see if I can find that Kirk Douglas movie. And Henry, glad to see you back. I was here last week, but then you weren't. And Brown, you're out here on the left coast. Well, let's see. For Henry, I'm sure, or maybe somebody else, I put a question out a while back about the BC375 dynamotor. I've got two, and they both work, but I really want to go ahead and repack the bearings. And reading up, there's two different types, and this one is almost a sealed bearing, but not quite. I mean, there's no way to oil it, no way to access the bearings that I can see without pulling off one end bell and pulling out the armature. So anyhow, maybe somebody else can tell me, and I also I need a lead to where the manual is for that dynamotor, if there should be a manual for maintenance on that PE73. And I'm guessing it's going to be whining pretty loud in here. Like Henry knows, like Henry said before on his, that yeah, you can definitely tell there's a dynamotor running. Okay, with that, and no dynamotor running, at least I didn't hear it, maybe on your ART-13. Take it away, Dave. W6MQI and U6F.
KB0W, port of KB0W, South Lake Tahoe.
Not sure what that was.
Yeah, stand by just a second there, Dave. I think that was Frank, KB0W, in South Lake Tahoe. Frank, is that you? K0DWC.
Yeah, that's me, KB0W, Frank in South Lake Tahoe. I don't have anything to say right now. I'd like to join the round table, but why don't you stick me in somewhere? It's a bit noisy up here, but I can hear everybody pretty well. I'll turn it back to you, KB0W.
Okay, Frank. Well, hey, it's really good to hear you on, my friend. It's been a long time since I've heard you on, and welcome to our net. It's great to have you here this morning. Dave, the W6MQI Dave it's his turn now, and then it goes to Henry, WH7YBS, and then Brown, W1NZR in the 6th spot. So what I'm going to do, Frank, I'll put you in the 7th spot, and you'll be able to speak here in just a few minutes. So I've got you down as number 7, Frank. So Dave, thanks for letting me break in there. W6MQI, go ahead.
All right, K0DWC, W6MQI. All right, Chuck, no problem. No problem at all. But, let's see. I haven't said good morning to Henry and Brown. Brown's sounded really nice and strong here today, as usual, and Frank as well. Man, it is booming in here from South Lake Tahoe. And this is Dave, and I'm in Livermore in the East Bay, the San Francisco East Bay. So that's where I'm located. But yeah, everybody's sounding good. Vernon is tree trimming. Yeah, I've got my 160 meter inverted L kind of skirts next to this huge tree that I got in my backyard, and it's starting to encroach on it. Unfortunately, it's so high up I can't reach, even with a pole, I can't even reach the branches to trim it around it. So we shall see what happens over the winter on that one. I'm forgetting everybody's name. It's been so long. Mike, your TMC sounding good. And Ron, the movie is The Hook. The Hook, H-O-O-K, The Hook. And yeah, check it out. It's on YouTube. That's where I saw it anyway. And you can stop and check out the radios. There's a couple of different scenes where they go back to the radio room. And the TDE is a prime example. It looks really in really good shape in the movie. And what else? Yep, glad to be back. Man, I've been all over the state. Did some quail hunting down by Fort Hunter Liggett, down by King City-ish. My neighbor, he has a friend down there that has 160 acres, and I walked 10 miles around that 160 acres. I was pretty whipped the first day, and we almost did it again the second day. And what else? We've been out to Mono Canyon County. My wife, sister has a place in June Lake. We're out there doing some walking around. And then last Sunday I was over at Kesterson and standing in the swamps down there doing some duck hunting. Didn't do too well. I think opening day was Saturday, and by the time Sunday come, the ducks pretty much, they split. We didn't do too well, so I noticed my neighbor went out yesterday, so I'll have to talk to him, see what he did. But yeah, good to be back. I'm kind of burned out. Gonna take a break for a few months, maybe in January, go back out again towards the end there. But other than that, that's about it here. It's about 68 degrees, nice and clear, and I remember to fall back on the clock. So let's see. Over to Henry, WA7YBS, W6MQI.
Okay. W6MQI, WA7YBS. Very good. Morning to all. Vern, Mike, Ron, Dave, Brown, Chuck, and Frank. Good signal in here from everybody. So the time change has helped, maybe. One of these days, maybe we'll press the Sunshine Protection Act and we'll stop this nonsense of changing time every 6 months or so. But at any rate, it is what it is. So, okay. Yes, I was down and out. I had the flu with magnesemia, and so it was pretty serious. And that's very low magnesium levels. And so, anyway, it took about 24 hours to get me rectified again and charged up. So all's okay now. And let's see, we're on the ART-13. We're running about 120 watts of carrier power, and the antenna is the collinear array. And we're listening on the National HRO7T
black wrinkle finish version. And so those were pretty rare HR07 versions. And let's see, it was 41 degrees this morning, a little cloudy, so that was good. And let's see, what else is, well, I guess I'll just move it on to Brown. I had a casualty yesterday. I was going to run the Collins 32V3, and I don't know what blew up, but when I hit full power, it absolutely fried the power strip of all things. And so I still have to do a little investigating on exactly how that happened, but at any rate, more projects, more repair projects. What can you say? Over to Brown, W1NZR, WA7, YBS.
Well, very good morning to you, Henry, WA7YBS, and the net, W1NZR, returning. Well, sorry to hear about the 32V casualty, although it may not be the radio itself, or transmitter itself, I guess. But glad to hear you're better. Magnesemia. I suppose we're all short of some mineral these days. But glad to hear you're feeling a bit better. And I'm on the Western Electric T195B, supposedly the last contract let, and with my special Motorola microphone. And as usual over here in Dixon, and I haven't done anything to improve my antenna over here, but still working on that. But everyone is coming in well, and I guess I am being heard. And Chuck, very good morning to you, and thank you for running the net. And Mike, let's see. I haven't been up in Reno for any transactions. I'm not sure what you're referring to. My friend Paul Feakin, N6FEG, was up there to visit his friend Roy a week or two ago, and I did speak with Brad myself, but that was a month ago. I haven't, so I'm not sure about this mystery, but I'm sure you'll fill us in. And your RCA sounds wonderful, and I take it you're using the TMC as an amplifier, and I didn't quite catch which model TMC that is, so you might clarify that. But in any case, it sounds wonderful, and all of you are sounding well. And Vern, you asked about the weight of an R390. I believe it's about 85 pounds. I used to be able to carry two at a time, but in my advanced age, I can only carry one, and that's enough. So, anyway. Okay, up to Frank. I'm not sure we've met Frank. My name is Brown, W1NZR, and I'm a occasional interlocutor here. I'm not smart enough to be retired, so I work in California, but I actually do still live back east. And I have the very good fortune of having a friend here in Dixon who allots me my very own West Coast ham shack, so I can entertain myself when I'm not otherwise gainfully employed, which isn't much. So, anyway, up to you. KB0W, I believe it is. And the net from W1NZR. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. We got to turn the right switches. Good morning, W1NZR and Brown and the group. This is KB0W in South Lake Tahoe. I'm learning all of the switch system here. I'm not on AM, as most people know. Running the Johnson, the Viking 500, putting looks like about 260 watts into an 80-meter 75-meter off-center dipole at about 65 feet, strung up between the pine trees. And gosh, it's pretty cold out. It's about 28 degrees here, overcast. The lake looks absolutely wonderful, and it looks as cold as a witch's broom, too. I'm mostly a CW operator, as Mike knows. and I hardly ever get on single sideband, actually never. So basically I do Morse code and occasionally get on the net. So I'm going to have to adjust to using my voice instead of my fingers. Henry, good morning. I'm sorry to hear that you had the flu. And good morning, Dave. I didn't get everything because I was messing around with the switches, but nice to meet you, Brown and Dixon, and it's nice to have two handshakes on, to be bi-coastal like that. I don't know who I'm going to turn it over to. I'm just making a list here, and as you can see, I'm a little bit befuddled. But I'll turn it over to whoever comes next, and I'll start generating a real list here. This is KB0W in South Lake Tahoe.
Okay, Frank. Yeah, you were the last guy on the list after the first round. And there might be a few more that will check in here, maybe. But you got a big signal in here this morning, Frank. And like I said, it's good to hear you on. And you know, I've got your call sign burned into my brain, you know, and I always want to say Portable 6 in Sacramento, you know, from the old 3870 days, but I know you've been up at Tahoe for quite a while now, but you sound like the same Frank, though, to me anyway. But anyway, good to have you and Brown on this morning. We don't get you guys very often, but we appreciate it when we do. So glad you guys are there this morning with the rest of our gang here. So anyway, let's see. Is there anybody else that wants to be number 8 and check in for the Vintage Military Radio Net? Please come now. Hey, there's Bill. Good morning, Bill. N6 Bravo Charlie Tango. This is K0DWC. Go ahead and make a transmission there, Bill, and send it back up to me, K0DWC. N6 Bravo Charlie Tango. Yeah, Bill, you're number 8. And let me see if there's anybody else that wants to check in, be number 9 for the Vintage Military Radio Net. Come now.
WA60PE.
Hey, there's Tom. Good morning, Tom. WA60PE. I got you in the 9 spot, sir. Go ahead and make a transmission here for the first round and send it back up to me, K0DWC. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good morning. This is WA60PE. Tom with Richmond. Just got in here. I haven't heard anybody other than N6BCT. Nobody else. So I'll be listening. WA60PE.
Okay, just let me give a real quick fill in here. I got Tom to check in there, number 9. So we go back up to number 1, and number 1 spot is Vern, K6VXY, and the number 2 spot is Mike, W7MS, and the 3 spot is Ron, NU6F, and the 4 spot is Dave, W6MQI, and the 5 spot is Henry, WA7YBS, and the number 6 spot is Brown, W1NZR, and the number 7 spot is Frank, KB0W. And then in the H-spots, Bill, N6BCT, and then Tom, WA6OPE in the number 9 spot. Is there a number 10 out there that would like to check in? Come now, please. Okay, well, I guess that concludes the first round. So we'll go ahead and send it back on up to Vern, who was the first one on this morning that I heard and got the number 1 spot. So way to go, Vern. K6VXY to take it. K0DWC. Go ahead. Oh, Vern, you're sounding better now. You picked up a little bit. I think it's probably just a little bit of conditions there, but you're easy Q5 copy. So go ahead. K6VXY.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. Yeah, I took a little pause just in case we had a number 10 there coming in. Yeah, number 6 and 7 are new to me. I haven't worked them before. Name here is Vern, Victor, Easy, Roger, Nancy. I'm running an ICOM 7200, about 8 watts into a Heathkit SB200 that I did some work on. The best thing I did for that was put in the new tubes. I got some new 572Bs, so it runs about 80 or 90 watts. I don't push it all the way up. I like them to last, the older equipment. And the antenna is a dipole. It's up about 45 feet at one end, maybe 50 on the other, 55. And it sags down to 42 feet in the middle. And it's pretty much favoring north. Let's see, what would it be? It's not due north-south. It's a little bit of a tilt. And if I go, so it's north, I guess north-northwest, and then south-southeast, whatever that works out to. I don't have a compass in front of me, but it's pretty much pointed at, I think it's from the signal reports I'm getting, I think it's from here. I'm near Groveland, California, in a place called Pine Mountain Lake, and I think it's pretty much favoring Reno more than Dayton, I'm guessing, because it's a little more of a north thing and a little bit toward Bob, who's not there today. The next antenna will be even higher. I spotted a tree and I thought, gee, why didn't I use that? That thing's about 65, 70 feet tall, so I'm going to put that as one end of the new antenna that I'll be trying hopefully next week. Yeah, it should make the nets. Gee, it's the spring I had the problem. I don't know, I got it so backwards, but I'm surprised the propagation's good because we got a bright sun out there, and it's effectively right now after 8:30, and we've been closing the nets at 8 o'clock, the old time, and that's different. Let's see, comments. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're better there, Henry. You sound pretty good. You sound healthy. And Mike, a plastic model, I guess it's gray. Of course, all the ships were painted gray, or whatever that color is called. It's almost like the Navy, you know, you have a flat black, you know, it's real like it's almost like flat gray, you know, real sandy looking gray. And let's see. Okay, Ron, on the weight, and I don't have a handle yet on KB0W up there at South Lake Tahoe. And Bill, good morning. Nice to have you here. And Tom, nice to hear you. And this new antenna proof stuff here seems to be keeping me squirrel proof. I shouldn't say that, but I've done some things to make it very difficult for them. They don't have any more rope they can chew on, except one spot, but they seem to leave that alone. I should not say these things. Okay. Anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Mike there. Hopefully I commented on everything. Okay, Dave, on your travels. And we're thinking next spring we might make a trip back east again. We haven't done that. That'll be 4 years. Got a lot of family we saw last week that came by. from that area. Virginia, well, this one, it was Virginia, Michigan, and Green Bay were the group, the family people from both sides. And enough on that. Okay, over to Mike. W7MS. He was a real strong signal again. 20 over. K6BXY.
Well, thank you, Vern. K6BXY W7MS. Hopefully not on a double here, because Chuck is just raking in the numbers here as far as folks on the net. And speaking of that, good morning, Frank. Great to hear you. Glad you can make it. And with the time change, it makes it a little bit easier to be up at ODark 30 when it's an hour later than it was yesterday. And good morning, Bill, BCT, heard you. And good morning, Tom. Great to hear Richmond this morning. And, of course, Henry has sounded much better than expected based on Net Control's description of his issues. But glad you made it this morning. And with a little added information on a, well, hopefully was going to be an extremely minor disaster, but very disconcerting power strip issue. And let me see here. Also, Dave, I was thinking of you last week. You know, I could remember your name, but there were I counted them. There were 25 quail in my backyard here in the back, about 1,000 square foot of lawn that's in a sub area on this 1 acre. And I counted 25 quail in my quail sanctuary, and I was thinking that maybe, if you got at least half of them, you could add at least a meal for one with those guys, but they're always out and about, and I'm glad that they, with their attitude, that they let me stay on this property here. They're definitely own the quail sanctuary. But on the TNC, it's the a little elaboration here on round 2, but it's the linear amplifier that's part of the PAL 1KB system, and the system entails the linear amplifier and 2 separate power supplies for I think a total of like 260 pounds for 1,000 watts out. Oh boy! But with my setup here, I think it's probably a little less than 100 with the amplifier and the home built power supply. And it is designed for a 100 milliwatt drive. Currently driving it with a mighty 50 milliwatts from the RCA transmitter, and so you're hitting the 5963/6CL6. That drives the 6146. And in this version has the 8295A Cermet ceramic Pinto, courtesy of those folks over in Palo Alto. iMac also ran the PL172. They're virtually the same tube. I think there were some variations early on that there was actually a variation, early version that was a glass tube, but this guy's a Cermet. And interesting amplifier and typical commercial construction, watts per pound. It's going to lose, not every time, but it's going to lose in some contests. But and a busy summer of constructing the power supply, since it is a power supply of many voltages and requirements. But after sealing the driveway, painting the fascia, rehanging rain gutters and all that this past couple of weeks, we got out here in the last few days and finished things up as far as sequencing TR relays and cutoff bias. Since this amplifier was not really designed for TR switching, it was designed just to be on with an exciter at 100 milliwatts in the very expensive Technical Material Corporation product catalog. It's amazing how many products they had. So that's the version here, and we'll run it over to Ron. And interesting on the dynamotors. Have fun, and U6F W7MS.
Okay, another pregnant pause, and okay, good copy on all, and like Vern said, boy, for this late in the day, sure nothing like summer. So, well, let's see, a couple of things going down the list. Okay, Vern on yet another tree asking for an antenna. Well, if nothing else, you'll keep the squirrels busy. You know, talk about the line holding up the antennas in the trees. You know, there at the Azores QTH, I get a lot of wind. You know, tropical storms, tail end of another hurricane this day. But and one end of the antenna is on a poplar tree. It's on the other side of my neighbor's cornfield, and the tree's actually on one of my cousins' pastures. But anyhow, it's about 150 feet away from the house, and it's pretty good. It's in the clear, and it's probably 70 foot tall, and so it's a great place for hanging. But it's really brutal with all the winds and the rest. I've got pulleys and counterweights. I always try to, and still things break. But so this time, no squirrels. But yeah, this time the nylon, the paracord broke while I was away. So I went ahead and instead ran. I got some 16th inch. Stainless steel aircraft cable, and so I pulled that over the top of the tree. So I'm curious to see, and I've got it tied off down below, so I'm curious to see this next year if I don't have to go ahead and get the slingshot and run away from the tree. And yes, Jones gray or black. Yes, the paint locker did not have many choices. And yeah, let's see, Mike. Okay, on the rundown on the TMC Corporation. Yeah, I had a, you know, when you mentioned that was the app, I took a look at a couple of websites and I saw. Yeah, I didn't realize how much stuff they made also. And yeah, much more fun than working on the rain gutters and the rest. Only tree work is. Raking up leaves. That's all I've done since I got here. And so that's all done. Dave, okay, thanks on the hook. Now we know the rest of the story. And your travels down there in at June Lake. Yeah, I was thinking back upon the last time I was there and years ago. I used to always come, you know, pass by down that way in Mono County when I several times doing the John Muir Trail, and I usually access it here from the east side. But yeah, many times they're hauling my backpack with my QRP rigs. I always brought a QRP rig. Then let's see, what else was there? Henry, wow. Okay, on the baptism of fire on the power strip. You know, I had one of those last night, but it was too late. Yeah. Yeah, it was easy to trace. I plugged the power cord into the power strip, and the instantaneous trip of the breaker outside. When I looked to see that instead of on line and neutral, I had on the switching supply, I hooked it up to neutral and neutral. So we checked the breaker, works good, and the power supply so works good too. Magnesium, I forgot what you call that, but who knows? I didn't know how we get half the minerals we do, considering we don't pay much attention to what we eat. So it's a tough job for the body to figure all that out, pull out the minerals we need. And Brown, good deal on the Western Electric T195. It sounds just like any other manufactured one. How do they do that? And yeah, hopefully you're getting closer to no more work and just play. Radio only, and I don't know what other hobbies you got, but I'm sure there's a couple. And Frank, I also am CW only. This is the only time I use the mic. So, yeah, this is it. And I think we may have QSO'd before. I'll have to take a look on the log and see. But, yeah, CW only, and mostly bugs. Well, I got lots of collection of bugs. And I also noticed on your QRZ page you were a geothermal scientist / engineer explorer. I worked up at the geysers there for 2 years, so I can still smell it. Okay, over to Bill. Or excuse me, why am I jumping over here? Over to Dave. W6MQI NU6F.
NU6F, W6MQI. How are you, Ron? What was I gonna say here? Henry, man, that sounded serious. Sounded like I hit you hard. Yeah, I take magnesium gummies. I don't know how much my body absorbs it, but I take it. But man, that sounded brutal. I'm glad you're on the upswing there. And yeah, Brown having his retirement. Yeah, this December marks 10 more months before I can call it quits. In fact, I was talking with my boss at work about maybe in the springtime agreeing to full-time, and they were receptive to it. So maybe by springtime I can go on part-time until retirement. At least I'm hoping I can retire. We shall see here shortly whether or not that'll happen. But probably not anyway. And Henry, I was sitting here looking at the CU-32, thinking about 630 meters. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get a wire out of my shack here. I've got my 160 meter inverted L. I gotta feed it backwards. I can't go from the shack here over to the base. I gotta feed it from the end. And which means I gotta punch a hole in the side of the building here, which I'm not really digging right now. I'm still trying to get the gumption to do that in order to get a wire out. I have to disconnect the tuner at the base of the antenna as well, so I got some things I got to do. But I think the wire will probably end up being about 200 feet long, so if I hook it up to the trailing antenna connection on the CU-32, it should work, but I'm not sure if it's even worth the effort. But anyway, I don't know, maybe you got some words on that. I've been 3D, I drew up a TR-77 cabinet. That's strictly a CW military radio, little man pack. Receives AM as well, but only transmits CW. And I drew up one on Fusion 360 and 3D printed it out and just got done painting it and such. Bought some of that. There's a guy on eBay that sells military green, all sorts of different flavors of it, green paint, and I ordered one from him. Of course, didn't match, but it's close. Yeah, it's looking really well. Really good, I should say. And inside this box, I have a switch capacitor, audio filter, CW gear, and different jacks coming out, so I can hook up the various CW keys and headphones and such. That's turning out really well. Nice little project. And what else going on around here? Yeah, I had to work on my roof a few weeks ago. The ridge caps pretty much dissolved. The darn crows have been pecking at them and peeling the ridge shingles off the ridge. And I shot a couple of them with my BB gun just to sting them. Hey, get out here, don't be doing that. And they got the idea for a while, but then they would come back and start pecking at them again. So finally got my butt up there and replaced all those. That was nice, getting ready for the rain. It definitely probably would have had a roof leak. And but the rest of the roof looks okay. Yeah, and antennas through trees. What a pain in the butt that is. I'm glad I have a tower to hang everything off of. I've done the tree thing, and what a hassle that can be. Trying to get it up over the top of the tree, through the tree, and getting hung up, and blah, blah, blah. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. But other than that, guess that's it. So, over to Henry. WA7YBS, W6MQI.
Okay. Very good, Dave. W6MQI, WA7YBS. And good morning to Bill. And 6BCD. And good morning to Tom, WA60PE. Okay, very good. On all. Let's see, I didn't say anything about that dynamo to that PE73 for Ron. The one that I have must have had the open bearings or something, because I remember putting the grease in it. And so the only thing is that dynamotor, I don't know, I think it runs over 5,000 RPM. It's a screamer. And the other thing that I've found, anyway, is that dynamotor likes 28.5 volts in DC, and it runs so much better at a higher, a little bit higher voltage going in. And it seems the inertia, the mass of the armature and everything seems to stabilize better. Because the 375 is very prone to doing all sorts of weird things like FMing and things like that are due to the instability of the B+, 1,000 volts. But at any rate, I've had really good luck running at 28.5 volts in, and then I can, with dynamic neutralization, I can get the 375 to run 75 watts and sound pretty good. 75 watts output. So anyway, yeah, I don't think the bearings on mine were sealed, because I stuck grease in there, so got it in there somehow. But and same way with the ATD dynamotor that I just did maybe a month ago or so. That one kind of had this little thing where you put the bearing, you put grease in there, and then you kind of squeeze the cap on there, and it pushes the new grease in. It kind of like packs itself as you assemble it. That's kind of cool. And so anyway, dynamotor's more fun than expected. 630 meters, Dave. Yeah, I tell you, the noise here is just the last several months has precluded doing anything on medium waves. Possibly expected in the summer, but this is intense stuff, and there just wasn't really much relief. So I'm going to do some more testing and see if this is going to be, if it was just, the solar activity during the summer, it's good to be, and or if it's, somebody off in the distance somewhere added a new solar panel to the array or something. I don't know. Anyway, maybe there's grow lights next door. I don't know. Next door is, was like over 300 feet away, so it's something that's pretty far away. And that's the only neighbor I got. There's none around anywhere else. So, anyway, we'll see what happens on as I can check out 630 meters. And what I've been doing is experimenting with loops, the shielded magnetic loops. Chuck gave me one of those W6 LVP loops, which I have to say is the ugliest loop ever made. It looks like something that came out of somebody's shop that was not very well equipped. Maybe had a hacksaw some PVC pipe and that sort of thing, a couple of tie wraps. Anyway, it looks crappy, but it works. It works pretty good. SF, it works as good as a pixel loop. And now when you get down below the broadcast band, it doesn't. Pixel loop will go right down to 60 kilocycles if you want. And but the W6 LVP loop works pretty good. Works equally as well as the pixel loop on HF. So it is something to think about. The thing that was shocking was looking at the price. I checked it out, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and where those things were a couple $100 a couple of years ago, they're like $345 now for something that looks like it came out of somebody's, garage. And the pixel loop is like, don't pass out, but the thing is $799 for the pixel loop. So anyway, it's a great antenna, but man, it's expensive. So anyway, that's my tirade for today. Let me turn it over to Brown, W1NZR, WA7Y+.
Oh, very good, Henry. From IDS and the Vintage Military Net, W1NZR returning. Yeah, very good on that, Henry. I have a couple of 630 meter transmitters back east, but I have not fooled with it very much at all. A little bit when I was still in Rhode Island, but I haven't set anything up in North Carolina, although I would like to. I don't think it'll happen here, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, I can tell the propagation is shifting a little bit. I won't hold it long, and I'm probably going to make this my 73 round as I am actually going to head back east very late this morning. But very good morning to Bill. Copying you quite well, Bill. He's Aston and Tom. WA6OPE. Hope all is well in Richmond. So, anyway, welcome here. Chuck, thank you very much for running the net. Always a pleasure. And always a pleasure to chat with all of you fellas. And thanks for letting me in. I'll be back in about a month's time. And we'll look forward to doing this again. So with that, I'm going to turn it up to Frank and say 73, but I will be listening out. So KBZOW and the Vintage Military Net. This is W1NZR. Over to you and saying 73s and a very good morning to all. Cheers.
Okay, very good. W1NZR, KB0W in South Lake Tahoe. Well, I've been listening to everybody. I have a situation here where the end of my 75-meter dipole is about 30 feet from a high-voltage power line, and I have a persistent growl, AC growl, that's probably S9 plus, so I'm having a hard time hearing a lot of folks here. Henry and Mike are very, very easy to hear, very loud. Everybody else is sort of in and out, so I'm having some difficulty in copying, but enjoying what I'm hearing nonetheless. Anyways, I've been spending most of the time the last 2 or 3 weeks just cleaning up the acre and a quarter here and winterizing the irrigation system. It's amazing how many bags of pine needles and pine cones I've picked up, but that's part of the tradition up here, living with conifers. Anyways, I'm going to bail out on this one, and perhaps next week, if I can get in here, the conditions will be a little bit better, but it's pretty rough and tumble up here, with the exception of a couple of stations. But nevertheless, thank you very much for letting me in and chatting on 3974. I suppose it was fun talking with my mouth instead of my fingers. So, I think it goes over to Chuck. W0DWC, and I'll say 73 to everybody else and listen out for a little while. Over to you, Chuck, I think. W0DWC, KB0W.
Okay, Frank, KB0W, K0DWC. Yeah, it goes to Bill, N6BCT, and then Bill will hand it over to Tom, WA60PE, and then we'll go from there. But thanks, Frank, for stopping by and checking in with us, and same with you, Brown, and we'll see you guys hopefully again real soon. So we'll send it over to Bill, N6BCT, and Bill, you'll turn it over to Tom, WA60PE. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, N6BCT, WA60PE. Well, I listened to everybody all the way through. Listened to all the comments. Very good, everybody. This will be my 73 round of well and done. So, maybe next week. 73, everybody. K0DWC, WA60PE.
Okay, Tom, WA60PE, K0DWC. Well, thanks for popping in, Tom, and 73 to you, Frank, and the Brown. So, just let me make a quick call. See if there's anybody on the tail end here who wants to do a quick check-in, B number 10. Come out. Okay, nothing heard, so we will go back up to the top, fellas, and we'll do a 7-3 round here, and go from there. So, Vern, go ahead and take it. It's a 7-3 round, guys, and the conditions aren't getting any better; they're getting worse. So we'll make it a quick 7-3 round and go down to a K6BXY to take it. Go ahead, Vern.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. Got a little hoarse there. It's K6BXY Groveland, California. Still running the 90 rooms here. It's working good. Yeah, I'm surprised it's perhaps it's 8 o'clock, but I noticed those conditions, it's like last week it would have been 9 and we were losing signals. But the conditions are better. I was very happy with that. And 73's to Tom. And Frank is signing out. I know Brown is signing out. And 73's to anyone else that I missed, which is not uncommon. I should take the notes. And one of the best people for doing that is the one I'll be turning it over to, Mike, because it's very thorough on comments and everything on what people are saying something about. It's really nice. I definitely appreciate that. So, 73 stalls, get you next week. I don't see any reason I can't. No excuse. But in the spring, it's rough. Extra hour early is rough. Okay, and it would be nice to have one. Well, I don't know that I'd want daylight time, but I think if I got standard and stated standard, that might be okay. W7MS, and the group's good enough there, sir. 6BXY, 73's all listening up.
Well, thank you, Vern. K6BXY and the Nevada military lineup of W7MS. Well, 7-3 to you, Vern, and also to the other folks who have signed, Frank, Tom. I believe Bill may have signed also, but he was no copy here on that transmission. And don't let the bed bugs bite, literally. There in Groveland, Pine Mountain Lake. You'll have to update us next week on the success of the eco products on your issues. And yeah, things are fading. Not surprising, but still Q5 copy. And heard Richmond, California, up 100%. So 7-3's off Tom on his one and done there. And repacking bearings, what can you say if they're sealed versus it's, you know, the advance of civilization there where you don't repack the bearing, you just have to replace it, which is problematic at times. It was definitely an agitation. But let me see. Well, nice to be here. Nice to hear some folks. I'm glad Frank made it on frequency. He requested the net frequency via text message, so we replied, and here he was. So great to hear him, and sorry that he does have issues, but we all do to one degree or another these days, and it doesn't seem to get any better. But we got 7-3s from Reno, and over to my neighbor Ron, and U6F W7MS.
Okay, guys, yeah, signal's there. So, good deal. Glad to be on the net this morning, and thanks again, Chuck, for running herd on things. Good to hear Henry back, and okay on the 630 meter stuff. Boy, I haven't even listened down there for a couple of years. I should try it. All right, good deal, guys. And Vaughn, hope to see you next week. Squirrels wooing. And Tom, 73s for your one and done. Their signal sounds great. I know, I think the antenna work you did, yeah, it paid off. Seems like its signal's always been up there. All right, guys, 73s. We'll catch you later. W6MQI and U6F.
NU6F, W6MQI, yeah, you guys are fading fast. Barely copied you well, as well as Mike. I'm still hanging in there, but, yeah. And Henry, yeah, that Pixel, I think it's Amber Pixel. No, you didn't, it was a different brand. I forget that one. You thought about with your property a fog antenna or a loop on the ground. You thought about experimenting with something else. Well, anyway, 73 guys, and see you guys next week. So, over to Henry, WS7YBS, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. And, W6MQI, WA7YBS. Yeah, we're pretty close to the river. 600 feet from the river, Carson River. And so the ground conductivity is pretty good, especially down about 15 feet. And, I thought about a beverage. I could get 800 feet, but unfortunately it points the wrong direction. It'd be pointing north or south. But, on long wave, you can get away with antennas that just aren't very high, and they do seem to be more immune to noise. I haven't tried a ground loop, but it's something to do, and they try it. And so with that, I will say 73 to everybody, and everybody have a good week coming up. And I didn't hear Bill sign, but maybe he did. But if he didn't, I'm going to turn it to Bill. And if you're there, you're there. And if you're not, Chuck will pick it up. N6BCTWA7YBS.
I don't hear Bill, Henry, do you?
No, I wasn't really sure whether I thought he signed, but then I wasn't positive, but I think he did sign. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think he signed either initially, but I guess maybe he must have. I don't hear anything at all here either. Okay. Well, Bill, still listening, 7-3s to you, and 7-3s to all you fellows. Great net this morning. Definitely appreciate all you guys being here, and you guys make this net what it is, and we're glad that you're here week in and week out. With that, I'll shut her down for today. Take North Air Radio and that down, and again, thank everybody for their participation. We'll invite everybody back next Sunday morning. Next Sunday morning, Carlos planned to be the next show in 2 weeks. So she should be on the air with that real shrill voice of hers. So. Okay. All right, guys. 7-3, and we'll talk to you next week. Soldier BWC signing 7-3.